Welcome back to the channel and today's racing roundup where we're going to run through the results in the past week or so and pick out my top performances. So if we start off at Cheltenham last week, we saw a lot of good horses and My Drogo was one which finally got his first chase win. You'll all remember the chaos at Cheltenham a few weeks earlier with the gin on lime situation where both came down, but Rachel Blackmore managed to stay on gin on lime. My Drogo did look like the winner that day before falling, and he made no mistake this time around. He jumped pretty well, and a 7-length win was ensued by Harry Skelton, who didn't have to get too serious on him. Next up, in the Racing Post Gold Cup, we saw a brilliant performance by Cool Cody. He's a really likeable horse, this one, and was given a great ride by Adam Wedge. The way he jumps from the front, and he had a massive jump 2 out, which probably in the end won him the race, allowed him to get an advantage on his rivals. But in that race, I'll just mention Dostal Phil, a horse I very much liked, unfortunately passed away after a fatal injury. It's horrible to see that, and that overshadowed the full race for me and the rest of the day. Elsewhere in the Albert Bartlett trial, we saw Blazing Carl, who was an Irish rider and made it 2 wins at Cheltenham this year. He won earlier on, and this performance was a pretty good one, winning by 4 lengths. Ploughed through the second last, I think it was. Would have won by a lot further, but stayed on very strongly and could be a player in the Albert Bartlett come March next year. I think this horse has improved a lot. On its second last start when it won, you thought maybe not an Albert Bartlett horse, but its latest performance was very good, and I think it could be a player come Cheltenham Festival. The next race is the Unibet International, and it was a very good result for me as I put Guard Your Dreams up as a horse to follow at the start of the season. When he was rated 140, he won a handicap on his first start at 7-2. That was a nice payday. Came second or third, I think it was, at Ascot, and then dropped in trip, probably wouldn't suit, and Sam Twiston-Davies after the race said he didn't think going for the International was a good idea, but listened to his father, the trainer Nigel Twiston-Davies, and it was some performance, stayed on very strongly and won the International over 2 miles. That was a very good performance. You'd expect it to go a lot up in the handicap, and he might be a graded horse from now on, which is very nice for me considering I picked him off as not a modest handicapper, but a horse that had a big handicap in him, but even I didn't think he'd excel to this level so early this season. And away from Cheltenham earlier this week, we saw Maximus beat Raymond Tusk on its second hurdle start at Newbury, and this performance did impress me quite a bit, to be fair. The horse on debut, I thought it would just go and win. It was class over bumpers, and even though it had only a few starts, it beat My Drogo, I believe. And I think this horse did excite a lot, underwhelmed on debut, but JPR1 is no mug, that's for sure. Finished second at Cheltenham, so the form of that first hurdle start has been boosted. And at Newbury, Nico Debonneville didn't get too serious on the horse. Looking 2 and 3 out, a lot of horses came to challenge as he did front run, but Nico was pretty confident, more confident than I was actually, and he excelled, speeded away after the last, and that was a very impressive performance for me. He shortened back up into around 16-1 for the Supreme, having been out to 33-1 after that disappointing debut, and I think this horse, if he has a few more runs this season, will keep on improving and could be a good horse in the Supreme division come the end of the season. So that's my racing roundup completed. Let me know who caught your eye this week, and don't forget to like and subscribe.